classified him as a political refugee. And he ended up in Norrköping, but he was placed under travel restrictions, and many Estonians were placed in travel restrictions, and he couldn't leave Tallinn except with special permission. And but he started training again in the shot put and the discus, and he competed locally. And if he wanted to compete outside of Norrköping, he had to get special permission. So he would compete against other Swedes, but there were restrictions as to which competitions he could compete in. The bigger competitions he was not allowed to compete in, but the local ones he could compete. So he kept training, and his hope was that he could compete in the 1946 European Championships in Oslo. But he was not allowed. He was a stateless person. He didn't have Swedish citizenship, and being a stateless person, he couldn't represent Estonia, and he couldn't represent Sweden, so he couldn't compete. So that was 1946. In 1948, he was hoping again to compete, but this time in the Olympics. The Olympics were in London, England at that time, and that winter he was training. He had actually stopped working. He had been working at different jobs, and he had taken up training, but he was not allowed to compete in the Olympics, and he never got there. And then in 1950, he was hoping again to compete in the European Championships, and they were in, I believe they were in Belgium that year. Again, he didn't have Swedish citizenship, and he couldn't compete, and he wasn't allowed to